Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I thought we would do a color palette challenge, and I'm still working in my little pad of this Khadi paper, which is about 12 by 16ish A3. What I like about this paper is it feels like handmade paper. It's a heavyweight 320 GSM, and when you're using it, it feels like handmade paper, and I have just really grown to love it. And this big 20 sheets of paper is about a third of regular cold press watercolor paper that I usually get, so I like its price point too for such a big sheet. And so I thought today we would work with color palette 391 out of Color Cube 2 by Sarah Renee Clark, because now we've already narrowed down what colors we want to use. And so I've actually pulled some of these SoFlat paints out because they're kind of close and I can get just about every color here. And then I could add white to get this lighter green and this lighter pink in here. So I have pulled out Naphthol pink, cadmium orange, permanent yellow, and dark green. And I've got some white gesso over here because I like mixing my paint with the gesso. It makes it more spreadable, gives it a little grit for when I draw on top of it. And it's just kind of the direction I decided to go. And I have cut this piece of paper up into, well, with tape. I have taped it off into thirds. And I'll apologize now if you hear the blowers out there. Lawnmower people have showed up. And I still feel like painting today. I didn't want to miss my painting today. So I have just cut this up into thirds with a piece of painter's tape, and we will peel that tape off when we're done. And I might get started with some mark making. I'm just going to pull, here's my 10B pit graphite, which the 10B pit graphite, the matte pit graphite, that's not water soluble, so I kind of like that it's not water soluble for this one. And I'm just going to create and see where we end up. And I got new stencils in an art haul that we just looked at, and so kind of want to see about using some of my new stencils maybe, and just playing and just seeing where we end up. And mark making might show up and it might not, but it's kind of fun if it's underneath our paint. Yeah, I think they're right outside my window. I had to get a new gesso because my other gesso was empty, and I could have opened it before I got here. Okay, I think the mowers have moved further away. As soon as I cut the camera on to film, they showed up, like literally under the window, dogs barking. Just like, why? Why do you do this to me? Okay, so I just grabbed a great big paintbrush. This is a 3/4 inch filbert. I got at Michael's. I needed some bigger paintbrushes, and so stopped in and got some yesterday, because on the bigger ones, I like using those filberts. But they're just not big enough sometimes. And I wanted some bigger paintbrushes, so these are just random cheap paintbrushes. So I'm gonna do maybe a little different than I normally do here on these pieces, and do some lots of color, a little more random in the placement of the color, and then come back with yummy marks on top. So it's kind of what I'm thinking today. So we'll just see how that turns out. Might not be going any place specifically. And I do have a couple of brushes here. I'm kind of feeling like maybe orange mixed with the white gesso. I like mixing my paint with gesso. Just makes it more spreadable. I hear the mowers coming back. I apologize if they're right under my window. I'm going to keep on adding color here while they're out there mowing, and maybe I'll throw some music on. Now I'm just coming back here and maybe doing a little mark making. So I think I'll throw these 3 paint brushes kind of into the water, and I might just pick up some paint with a fan brush and do some mark making with that maybe. And it would help if I let this dry some, but we're gonna go ahead and do some fun little marks in here. We're just gonna keep on moving. And let's see, I do like, ooh, I like that little round blender brush because it's good for making circles. So I'm going to use my little round blender, and I'm thinking maybe that green mixed with the white would be fun. This brush just makes it easier to me to make some shapes like this than some of the other brushes, and I've just decided I really like it. You may have your own special thing that works best for you, and if you do, you go ahead with that. I just like how easy this brush makes it to make a shape when I'm kind of feeling like I need a shape. I like it. I like it, like it, like it. And then I might do some stencil work on top of this and then mark make. Kind of feeling crazy today. So let me set, well, I kind of need that, don't I? But I got lots of fun stencils in. So let's take a look at some of those and see if we want to do some stencil work. I got in some from Joggles, which is one of my favorite, Punchinella. So you got a great big Punchinella. It's called Halftone Dorothy. So it's called like halftone circles, but it looks like a big piece of Punchinella. So if you've ever had trouble finding Punchinella, which is the sequin waste that I always pull out, this stencil from Joggles is like a giant Punchinella. So I'm kind of feeling like we could do some of that. And I also had some fun swirls. Ooh, this one's kind of fun with the different marks. Definitely want to pull this one out because we already know I love these. Let me dry this a little bit. So what if we pick a color and do these? Or we could do them white. We could do white. White might be nice. We could do a color. We could do something mixed with a color. I kind of feel like maybe the white. So I should just get some white paint. I've got my white paint up here hiding. This is my heavy-bodied Liquitex white. I like it because it's easy to stencil with. And it's less opaque. I mean, it's more opaque than most of the whites, so just a little dry order sponge. Kind of thinking a few dots right up through here. Totally my Punchinella dot. Perfect. And I love how big it is because, man, we could just do all kinds of stuff with this. Oh yeah, this is a crazy color palette. Might not end up being one of my faves, but I wanted to do something fun and kind of crazy. And I think that this definitely fits that bill. And I'm kind of wanting to do something else in here. Like, I really love this Crafter's Workshop stencil because of this cool shape. It's like my new favorite shape here. We should just do it. Maybe we should do it on top after I do a bunch of mark making. Ooh, what about graffiti writing? That might be fun. Ooh, I'm kind of okay. All right, I'm kind of thinking graffiti writing might fit in nicely with, in my mind, this bright, colorful one. This is the Crafter's Workshop Thick, Thin Writing. And I'll link all these below the video for you. Kind of feeling graffiti writing. So, what kind of color do we want this writing to be in? I kind of think, I don't know, weirdly enough, I'm almost liking that yellow. Ooh, or maybe the yellow mixed. I might not be able to get any more of that after I just did that, but let's just go for it. Oh, that is rather nice, actually. All right, let's go for it. Maybe I got enough in here, because you can't really tell what it is with the amount that I've used, but it's enough to give us a little hint of something, which I like. Oh yeah, okay. Okay, I'm liking that. Okay. You know, it's when you throw everything at your piece that you end up with crazy fun stuff. Now I'm thinking that we need to get our Mungyo oil pastels out and maybe start doing some mark making here, because I like the texture and the vibrancy of the color, and I like all the color choices that we have in this set. And kind of wondering, do we need any other color marks out here? Because we can open these back up. I'm good at spilling paint, so I'm kind of like, let's close the paint lids just in case, as I'm having a good old little time here doing whatever it is that we're about to do. Okay, so kind of looking here at my inspired color palette. This is kind of a fun color. Is that the right color? It is kind of a fun color. Let's go for that. It's kind of in this color here. And I'm going to circle the green circles because I like things that circle things. I wonder why that. It's got like a white in the middle of it. Well, that just made it even worse, didn't it? I don't know what that little white bit in the middle of that was, though. Kind of bugged me. There we go. Now I feel better. Oh, it's a crazy moment. I think the mowers are gone. Tell you, every time I sit at my table, the mowers show up, hang out under my window, upset the doggies, and then they're like, roof, 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 there's people at the door. I think they've moved away finally, though. Oh, I like these. Kind of feeling like I need this color somewhere else, though, so I might go ahead and work this color in just as a pattern somewhere, so it didn't look like we just came up with that on the fly, even though we did. That's fun. I always end up with new favorite color combos sitting on top of other color combos when I don't think too hard about it and I just go for it. Like I'm kind of feeling like right here. That is so yummy because that teal just pops off that orange and that yellow and that red like it's like super poppy. I like it. I like it when they're super poppy. I'll call this my super poppy piece. Okay, so what else we got? We got a green. That's about the right color. Let's see. What are we thinking? Could do some little dots out here. just pull that in. And I'm not thinking too hard really about where I'm putting my crayon down or my oil pastel as I'm doing that. I'm just like, let's just go here, not thinking hard about all the different elements, which you could definitely think harder about it than I do on some of these and make yourself crazy. So I choose to go a little more intuitively and just think, where do I want to put this down at, and what do we want to create? It's not a big deal. Ooh, I like that. Let's just go on top of that with like a little ladder. Ooh, that was good. Let's do that up here. And then, you know, if we peel the tape and we don't love it, we can cut these up into little hearts. And we have still saved the day. I just don't worry about it. I just go wherever I'm going to go without too much thinking there. Just my own preference there on fun ways to work. Let's pull out kind of like this gold, even though that's not quite, yeah, that's close, but I kind of like that. I'm kind of thinking, because it kind of matches the yellow that I've used in here. Let's just get some marks going. Do some craziness here. I'm kind of thinking, where is my silicone? Here we go. Kind of thinking silicone spreader with some white. So, might put a little more white out here, and we'll get some lines going with the white. So I'm basically going to just coat the edge of this with the white, or try. And then just come back in here with some lines and marks because I want to. Ooh, I like that one there. Oh, it's so fun. Just about sitting, showing up, maybe doing something crazy that day. Definitely feeling a little crazy bits today. Ooh, okay, so may or may not love that. I don't know. We'll see. Now I'm kind of wondering, like, where are we? Do we have enough? Do we want some white dots from the Posca pen? Maybe so. I think we do. Okay, that had obviously some kind of dirty paint on it, so it's not white. It's more gray. Wonder what I did. Like, why is that gray today? Who knows what I used this on? Definitely is not a white dot like I expected. Probably get whiter as we go, but since I started it, no sense in stopping it. We'll just make it look like it was on purpose. You do it more than one place and it's on purpose, not a mistake. not a oopsie that you're like, what is that? See, now we're getting back to white. Wonder why these were gray. Let's go back and put some white dots over here. Who knows what I ran that on top of to get gray dots. Probably a piece of pastel like this stuff. And it's soaked right in. This is a hot mess. Okay. Kind of liking it though. I don't know. Kind of liking it. You know what's magical though? When we peel the tape and cut these apart. So I am kind of, look at our color palette. How do you think we did there? I think we did pretty good. So I'm going to peel these apart and get out my rip ruler, which is my dual edge ripper. I love my rip ruler. This thing right here, dual edge ripper. And I use the more subtle side because that's what I like. But we're going to peel the tape and see where we're at. That's a lot of layers. You could keep adding to them, but I'm kind of feeling like we did good here with the layers. And if you're real careful with this paper, it doesn't tear when you tear your tape off. I love that. I don't know why. I had this paper in a closet for a year. I showed it in an art haul. I thought I was going to like it. Then it got real warpy. And I'm like, huh, maybe I don't like it. And I've never pulled it back out since. And then I've been playing with it in that art journal. And I'm like, huh, I like this paper again. Let's pull it back out of the closet. And I love that it's like a big handmade piece of paper. Okay, we're tearing paint here. Gotta be careful. Whoa. If you get any piece where you tear a piece of tape up like that, you could take a little bit of matte medium and stick it back down if you want. You just gotta be real careful here peeling tape with this paper. So let's just be extra careful on this piece on this side. Kind of work it side by side, seems to be good. And the reason why I did that is because this is acrylic paint, it's not watercolor, so it made like a seal between the edge and the tape, basically. Alright. These are super bright and fun today, a little bit crazy. But I was wanting to do something fun and crazy and different than what I normally do. I like seeing those abstracts with the fun, crazy colors and all the fun things and the mark making going on. So I thought, let's just play in that today and experiment. Okay, and then we'll take our piece of ripper, just kind of center it up. I just eyeball it and I tear towards the edge very carefully, holding this down really good. And if you're scared you're going to tear your piece of artwork, like if it's the most favorite thing you ever created, tear your paper first and then tape it all down. And then you shouldn't have to worry about tearing it after the fact. Whoa, look at these. Oh my goodness. Okay, these are crazy fun. Look at that. And look at our color palette inspiration. That was super fun. A little different than what I normally do. Now we can look at different edges and see, do we like it better in different directions? Kind of like that one, the way I painted it. See, I tend to go back to the way I painted it on a lot of mine. Oh, well now with this one I like it this way. So there we go. But then they both kind of look the same. So maybe we'll do it like that. Alright, hope you had fun trying out a new color palette. Maybe something a little bit crazy with the marks and the colors and painting with me today. And I'll see you guys next time.